I'm here with Chef Sam Mickail of Cut Steakhouse in West Orange, and he is making us not one, but two dishes that he's going to share with you, New Jersey. Sam, what are we making today?
Actually, we're going to start with the first one, which is the Sammy's mac and cheese.
Now, why is it smack and cheese?
because we usually, when I do it, I smack the pasta right in the pan like this. So.
Okay.
And the kids love that. So.
Now, talk to me a little bit about our ingredients.
Right. So what we're going to do here, and it's pretty available on on every store, and you can also substitute some of these items.
Okay.
So basically, you get any Parmesan cheese.
Okay.
You get this is Asiago or Fontina or Gruyere if you like something more strong.
Okay.
More powerful, and just sharp cheddar.
Excellent.
And the only difference is we're making something called roux, like a little bit of fresh butter.
Right.
A hint of flour.
Okay.
And that's basically going to give it the thickness, like it's going to make it, that gooey flavor and texture.
That texture that everybody loves.
But yet it's going to be silky and also gives it a little bit of nutty flavor. You see how the
butter browns up a little bit.
Exactly. There's a beautiful nutty flavor. So that's pretty much cooked now.
Okay.
Now the flour, you don't want it raw, but you don't want it burned. After that, we're going to add a little bit of our liquid, which is the cream. You can add cream, you can add, milk. Even, fat-free milk. And the most important thing is you gotta make sure you mix it. Otherwise, you see, it's gonna get lumpy and not very nice, not very pretty. So that's it. That's basically our base.
Okay.
So we're gonna put that aside. Now, we add the cheese. We add a little bit of cheese. We add the big ones first.
Okay.
Like this.
So cheddar next?
Cheddar next, go ahead.
Putting all this in?
A little bit, probably half.
Half?
Yeah.
Okay. There we go.
And a little bit of this cheese, which is the Parmesan. And we save a little bit of Parmesan, we're gonna put it all the way at the end.
Okay.
Of course, a little bit of seasoning.
Salt, pepper.
Salt and pepper, put it back on the fire. And now we add our pasta. Pasta, very important that the pasta is very dry. Has no fluid, no liquid.
Okay, now and this is pasta that we pre-cooked.
Correct, correct. Salt, kosher salt and water, and you just pre-cook the pasta. Now we're gonna put it on very high, very low heat. And if you look like right now, it needs a little bit more fluid, more liquid. So we're gonna add a little bit more liquid to it.
Okay.
Okay, that's perfect. Now this is gonna go in the oven. And when it goes in the oven, what happens is the cheese basically melts into the pasta and it becomes the mac and cheese that we know. So now it goes in the oven and we wait a little bit.
Great.
Okay.
All right, so our mac and cheese has been baking.
So it should be absolutely like 5 to 7 minutes.
Okay, so not long.
And be very careful when you touch anything out of the oven, of course. You have to have a towel in your hand. Make sure the towel is not wet. Now we're gonna put it back a little bit on the fire like this. And now we're gonna finish it with the caramelizing a little bit. So it gives it some texture. Everything is gooey now, it's nice. Now I'm gonna add a little bit of the cheese, Parmesan cheese, right on top like this.
Oh my God.
And the last trick is the breadcrumbs or bread, regular bread. In this case, I'm using the panko, which is Japanese breadcrumbs. Why? Because it has a nice flaky,
those are the best, that has the
flakes.
best crunch.
Absolutely, absolutely. So it depends how much you need in it. Now I'm gonna caramelize the top. So I'm gonna go to my broiler here and we put it underneath. Should take a few minutes, not even 1 minute. Now if you don't have this broiler, you don't have a salamander in the house, you can either use like a hand torch. You can also put it back in the oven.
In the oven,
and the top will
broiler,
caramelize.
yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this, of course, it took like half a minute. And see, it's caramelized. It's beautiful. That. And that's what you're looking for. You see the flavor? Can you see the flavor there? Now we're gonna take a little bit of a spoon. I'm sorry.
Oh.
The spoon is right there. And then we're gonna dish it out. Here you go. And you just let it slide. You want the crunch in the middle. You want everything. You just let it slide like that. And it's so nice just to let it fall. It's a nice, like, peasant dish. Don't try to push it down. Don't let it fall naturally, and it looks so beautiful. And it tastes even better.
That looks gorgeous. All right.
Of course. And this is cheese twists. You can garnish the plate with it. It's also in any store you can find it.
Yes.
So it looks, you know, looks a little nicer, and a little bit of greens, and we're good. And now we put a little bit of greens in here, right on top or on the side. And here's the Sammy's mac and cheese.
Look at that. That looks beautiful. All right, we're gonna set this aside while we get our second dish started.
This is the tomahawk, which is one of our best seller, one of our signature dishes. It's basically a beef rib chop. You know, exactly like when you serve lamb chop or pork chop, but this is beef chop.
Okay.
You see the marbleization on it, which means even this fat, it sizzles and it cooks the meat. And that's dry age, you can find it in the store. If not, wet age is fine. I mean, as long as it's the cut and if it's a ribeye steak with the bone in it.
Okay.
Correct.
And then we're seasoning
So
this.
the seasoning. Usually what you do is, what I like to do is I put the dry seasoning first, and I'm gonna brush it after that with regular oil. I personally don't put marinade or olive oil because it takes away from the flavor from the meat, and olive oil would burn actually.
So like a vegetable oil instead.
Correct.
You would use.
Or 50-50, like 50 olive oil, 50 vegetable oil. So this is basically the black salt, which is the star of this dish, aside, you know, after the meat, of course.
After the meat. Now, where do you find black salt?
You can go to any like Whole Foods specialty store. If you happen to be in New York City, you know, the DeLuca, any of these stores, you'll find it.
Okay.
And if you don't, I mean, give me a call and I'll give you some. How about that? So now we added the black salt, and we make sure we season both sides all the time whenever we're doing chicken, meat, fish, anything like that. So we season this. I like to crack the pepper, or you can use regular black pepper, but the cracked pepper actually gives it very nice flavor.
Yeah.
And it adds, you know, it adds the real flavor from the actual pepper when you crack it fresh. Choose some of the vegetables, and the scallion, when you throw it on the grill or saute it, it gives, first of all, it's very pretty, and it's not as strong and powerful as the onions.
As an onion.
Even the onion, I boiled it a little bit, and you're gonna see how beautiful it is when you put it on the grill with a little bit, nowadays, these are zebra tomatoes, some grape tomatoes, baby carrots, and asparagus. And I'm gonna also roast a little bit of fingerling potato. It's basically boiled potatoes, and then we're gonna season it, you know, lightly and just roast it in the oven.
Okay.
Perfect. So now we're gonna brush our meat. We're gonna add, you know, a little bit of, not too much, because like I said, it has enough amount of marble and fat on it. And we're gonna come here, put it right on the grill. Okay. Back. So this is also optional, but if you'd like, I usually like to wrap the bone so it doesn't burn.
Singe.
Yeah, it doesn't burn and it stays nice and clean. Okay, now we're gonna do the same thing with the vegetables. We're gonna just throw them on the grill, like so. Put this here, and then we put a little bit of the scallions.
I never would have thought to grill a whole scallion like that.
Tomatoes. Scallions, and then aside from it's nice, it has a beautiful nutty flavor once you grill it, and it looks pretty on the plate. It gives the plate like it looks full.
Yeah.
These we can either saute the rest of the vegetables, or we can just put them in here, do everything at once. So we take it off the grill. This plate is nice and hot, and sizzle it. All it needs, just 2 pieces of butter, well, maybe 3. I like 3. So after that, we're gonna put it right underneath here. And you see our potatoes, they're nice and roasted, they're done. I will leave this here for about, I would say, a minute or so. The butter will sizzle and we'll finish cooking it. And the most important thing when it comes out is you have to let the meat rest. Never take the meat from the oven, serve it, it has to rest. So like some of the fluid that you don't want, not the juice will always stay inside. And it also brings it to the right temperature. Also, when you put a fork and knife in it, it's like, this is like a balloon. When you put a fork in it, what's gonna happen? It's gonna explode. So all the juices runs at once. So it's very important to let your meat rest after you cook it. See how it's sizzling now? This is the perfect. That's the way we want it. And of course, what am I going to do? I'm not gonna serve it right away. So you put it somewhere, you let it sit, and you see the trick here? This is nice and clean, didn't burn. Otherwise, it would have been charred completely. And you know. So of course, you let it sit a little bit. After that, we're gonna take it and just put it right on the plate. And voila, you can serve it. You can serve it with or without sauce.
Chef, we work hard today.
We're
Let's
ready.
Enjoy.
We're ready. Which one you want to try first?
I'm gonna let you
course.
cut me a little piece
So
of that.
we're gonna cut, and we'll cut right in the middle,
Look
like
at
that. And see how beautiful that is.
That's a great color.
See how it's rested, and you know the color is perfect. So here you go. I cut you a piece.
Oh my goodness, that mac and cheese is incredible.
Good. Enjoy it.
All right,
There you go.
let's give this a little shot here. I'm gonna take the smaller piece so I don't make a total mess of myself.
Try the mac and cheese. Oh my God.
Do a good job.
So good. So good. Now we can say anything, right?
Now we can just enjoy. Chef, thank you so much for letting us come and invade your kitchen this week and sharing these recipes with us.
pleasure.
I'll see you
Anytime.
guys next week in the Cucina.